What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Movie Hype. I'm your host, Tony Lamar, with my buddy out in California, Mr.
Ross Miller.
Yes, people, what's going on? Yeah, we've been on hiatus for a little while because there's been no good trailers out. We've just been waiting for these movies to come out, like, Batman vs. Superman this month. That's the only big hype, right?
Yeah, that's about it.
Until today. A new trailer just dropped today. It's something that people have been waiting for to see what the look of the film. And I'm talking about the remake of Ghostbusters. The trailer dropped this morning. I had a chance to take a look at it. One of my first initial thoughts, not that impressed.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that's
honestly.
a shame. Because just a little while ago, you were saying that was one of the films you were looking forward to. So
I was looking, yeah.
That is a reversal of decisions.
Yeah, well, I did say it in the beginning of the year, the movie I'm looking forward to is Ghostbusters, because I really had potential. I had high hopes because who was involved? We got the Saturday Night Live alumni. Everybody's coming back. You got Dan Aykroyd, Bill Murray, Annie Hudson, Sigourney Weaver. They're all making cameos in this movie. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that's what's going to make the movie successful, but it shows, hey, if they're on board, it must be decent. Or they're just there for a paycheck.
Exactly. At least you'd think that they were treating it with the love it deserves, yeah.
Now, granted, a lot of people in this generation might not have seen the first Ghostbusters, which I have a hard time believing that's come on. It's like, it holds up.
And then when you talk about there was cartoons that are, the real Ghostbusters and all that stuff, so it's not like it hasn't been carried on even beyond the movies, so it's not like it's a small, tiny franchise. When you say to somebody who you're going to call, even if they don't repeat it, in their head somewhere they're thinking Ghostbusters. It's a part of our pop culture, and that's it.
I totally agree with you. That it's exactly that. It's part of our norm. Everybody knows the Ghostbusters. You know the logo. It's one of those iconic logos. Everybody knows what it is. Mm-hmm. So my first impression of the trailer is they weren't going with a comedy at first. I don't know. I shouldn't compare the trailer to the first Ghostbuster because that's a different way of marketing back then than it is today. I really believe they want us to see these characters in their elements of what their roles in the movie, because they also the whole trailer covers what Kristen Wiig does, what Melissa does, and I don't know all the characters' names. I should know all the characters or the people who are in the movie, their roles. But again, it's I'm sorry, Kate McKinnon, which I really like. She's on Saturday Night Live right now. Leslie Jones, who's really playing on Saturday Night Live. They all say their place in the whose job is what. Kristen Wiig is a smart, intelligent person. Kate is the person who can make the devices. And I forgot Melissa's part. And Leslie Jones, she's not really a smart person, but she knows the city, as she says. I'm from the city. I know the city.
Right.
And you see Slimer's in the trailer. He's back. He's in the trailer.
Well, the ghosts don't die,
Yeah. So it looks like there's someone else is at foot causing this problem, because it sounds like what's going on in the trailer is that these ghosts are being enhanced to do more than they usually do. I mean, that's what the hint came off.
Oh, it's the Ghostbusters versus the Army of Darkness.
It's so funny you said that, because that's exactly what they show in one scene. A horde of ghosts. I mean, so...
No.
Who knows? It's the first impression. Is it a good first impression? I would say not really. We need one more trailer. But then again, I could be wrong. I use it as a go-to answer. I really thought that RoboCop looked like a terrible freaking movie. Yes, this is 1985, people. Yes, I know, but this is the only example I can say that I did not like the trailer. I thought it was laughable and stupid, and it'd be one of my favorite movies. And this still may be the case with Ghostbusters. I love Ghostbusters 1. Ghostbusters 2 is okay, has its moments, but it's not the greatest thing. All right? And here's the problem, people. It's, again, with these remakes of movies. This is not the only remake coming out this year. You got the remake of The Magnificent Seven, Pete's Dragon. That trailer came out. You haven't seen that. Came out just last week as well. Mm-hmm. Ben-Hur is coming out this year. Cabin Fever, which was made in the last 10 years, has a remake.
About 15 years, but yeah.
15 years. Cabin Fever! Is it really... Has it been 15 years?
2002, so it's going to be 15 years next year.
Yeah, so maybe. All right, fine. I don't know.
I win.
So maybe anyway, but I don't think that needs to be made into a remake at this time.
The Evil Dead didn't need a remake. But remakes aren't new. That's the thing. Remakes aren't new to Hollywood. The Maltese Falcon with Humphrey Bogart was a remake of a 1939 film called The Maltese Falcon. So it's not new. We've been regurgitating the same crap for as long as the same crap's been around. And even there's some that argue that you can break down every single movie plot of every film to the Shakespearean plot style. You know what I mean? And so that's something that a lot of people have talked about before. But you're right, that they're doing Going in Style, they're doing the Ghostbusters, they're doing, you know what I mean? Everything is a reboot of something else, it seems like, you know?
It's unfortunate that this is what's going on, that they believe this is what we need. But it is easy money. Come on, you think about it. If you can spend, say, $20 million, I'm sure they spend more with that on Ghostbusters, okay? But $20 million and you make $60 million, and even in a 3-week run, you made money. You made $40
million. I'm not even an accountant, and I could figure that out. That's good money.
You know, so you can see, you know, why they do it.
Oh, absolutely.
Is it practical? I mean, maybe that's just part of the bread and butter of the studio. We need movies to make money real quick. They will do the experimental film or try something different. But as you can see, every studio has their franchise. Try to keep making it. Maybe if you look at it maybe this might be a way of a comparison, like, say, McDonald's. Everybody knows they got a Big Mac, Quarter Pounder. That makes some money, right? So they're not going to all of a sudden, we're getting rid of Big Macs. We're going to try something new. No, they're going to stick to...
No, only Coca-Cola does stupid shit like that.
It's been a while, but yeah. But you do see them trying different sandwiches. If something sticks, they'll keep it on the menu. If not, they try something new. So I guess Hollywood's no different. They know, hey, we'll make another pirate movie.
Well, I like if they try a sandwich and it's really popular, like the McRib, then they don't keep it. They take it on tour around the country. So fat people have to follow it, like the Grateful Dead. Oh, where's the sandwich is going to appear in Denver this week?
This week they got a new sandwich coming out.
Yeah.
It's the new Ghostbuster McGriddle sandwich. I don't know.
Yeah. But I got to tell you, I'm a fat guy, and when I'm looking for fast food, if I'm at home, I will go on their website. It's like, hey, what's the new sandwich at Jack in the Box? You know, so I'm guilty of that kind of stuff. What were we talking about?
No, it's on the same thing. We're talking about how Hollywood just doesn't make challenges. They just do a reboot. Now, some may argue, and here's a good example. Last summer, Poltergeist came out. Right? You and I seen the original from 1982. I think it's a pretty decent movie. It's not the greatest horror movie, but it still
scared the crap out of me when I was a kid, man.
All right. Well, I went to a screening to go see it with people, and I didn't like it. I kept comparing to the original. There's a lot of stuff in the story, a lot of plot holes that made no freaking sense. Have you seen the remake?
No, I haven't seen the remake.
Here's the biggest problem I have with the movie. Okay, 1, the husband was unemployed. 2, the wife was unemployed. But in this movie, they were able to buy 2 houses, one at the beginning and one at the end.
They're like the Friends people.
I don't understand how that works. That's just picking at the film. But here's what I was getting at. That after the movie, I started talking to people, and majority of the audience did not see the original Poltergeist. So with that in mind, you can see why they do remakes, because not everybody's going to go back and watch the original.
See, but that's where I think that Hollywood's really missing a money source, that they should start doing old films. They should find... It doesn't need to be in the big theaters. You don't need... you keep the big movies in regular, like, your draft houses and those kinds of theaters, but you also have like smaller theaters that could air old films. They're old licenses that they still own the rights to, and they can still make money off of. Tell me that if they didn't do the original release of Star Wars right now, that it wouldn't make a ton of money. They did it with Titanic. They released that, a second time in the theater, and it made a good amount of money. But think about it, if like 30 years later they did it again, people would go see that stuff. They could do it with their B films. They could do it with a lot of those films. And
You're right.
All they have to do is pay for the distribution. The rest is all profit.
I remember when Lawrence of Arabia came out in the theaters, and Periscope 70 millimeter. they re-released it. Sound of Music. You're nailing. You're absolutely right. They've done that in the past.
Yep. And they should make it a habit as opposed to the rarity.
And Disney is so, not call them stupid, because they're making a lot of smart decisions and blah, blah, blah. All right. You know what? If you want to corner the market during the Christmas season, could you imagine this November they release a Star Wars or Empire Strikes Back?
Yep.
You're Return of the Jedi. For 2 weeks only. Are you freaking kidding me? It will sell out that weekend.
It would sell out for the entire run if it was only out for 2 weeks.
It doesn't matter. We got this. We'll put it against every movie that comes out in during the holiday time.
Exactly, and you bill it as the original movie, no cuts, no changes, no George Lucas nonsense, just the film from 1979.
Mm-hmm. And they may still do it. I mean, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? I have the original print of Star Wars. Fans have been begging for this stuff for decades.
Yep.
You know what? We're gonna release it for 2 weeks, and we're gonna sell on DVD for Blu-ray for $50. Unfortunately, a lot of people will pay for it. Me, I won't. I'm good with my DVD of the original back and came out whenever it did. Yep. I'm done.
I am too, but I would go to the theater to see it one more time
in a heartbeat. I mean, I took my kids to go see. What was the first one? Phantom Menace.
Yeah, it
was in the theaters, just so like I said, they saw it in the theaters.
But think about if they re-released the original Halloween, 1 and 2. The fans love those films. Tell me that the horror fans aren't going to fill up the theater that week. You do it around Halloween. Put out Born on the 4th of July. Put that in theaters right around 4th of July. Just there's so many of these films. The old Vacations, rerun those. Don't make a new one. Nobody wants to see the new one. It's garbage.
I'm one of the. I did see it. I could not find one funny scene. Mm-hmm. Usually with a comedy, you find 1 or 2 scenes. That was pretty funny. Mm-hmm. I tried. I mean, I was in the right state of mind to watch this comedy. So I'm going to take it for what it's worth, and hopefully they do something good with it.
Yep. Now that being said, though, you also had mentioned that they're doing Going in Style is coming out.
Okay, Going in Style is a movie that a lot of people may not know.
I'm sure of it. If they didn't see the original Poltergeist, they didn't see this for sure.
Yeah. And this film came out in 1979 with George Burns and Alan Arkin, and I forgot the.
No, wasn't Alan Arkin wasn't in it. He's in the new one.
No. Was he?
Yeah, it was George Burns, and it was Art Carney.
Art Carney?
And,
that's what I meant to say, Art Carney.
And who was the third guy? I can't think of him right now.
And some other old actor. He's not known for comedies.
Right.
That's for sure.
None of them really were the biggest. Like, they were comedy stars, but with what they were doing with this film, it wasn't your traditional comedy. It was very dark, for one thing. You know what I mean? And it was just really cool. It was very unique. And the fact that somebody's making a remake of it impresses the shit out of me. To me, this is the courage that I always claim Hollywood doesn't have.
Lee Strasberg was the other guy.
Oh, okay, yeah. And they were great. Yeah. They were lovable old men who they were basically on hard times, living on Social Security, just barely scraping by. And they thought, fuck it, let's go rob some banks, let's go.
The movies, if you look at the movies in the late 70s, it did a lot of this theme about having a hard time with the money. You got to think about the high cost of living. Remember that movie with Jane Curtin and it doesn't even matter. Mm-hmm. And that was a movie about them starving for money.
Yep.
Hitting hard times. And I'm sure there's other Americathon. Mm-hmm. So those themes may resonate a little bit today. So I think that's maybe why they're doing it.
Completely. No, it's a perfect concept. But again, they didn't really. To me, I don't think they went far enough with what they could do on it. And I'm hoping that they have a good writer. And now I believe it's like Alan Arkin and Morgan Freeman, and so I'm not sure who else in it. But, I mean, this is great. This is an opportunity, and I'd love to see it. Like, to me, this, I don't know if you ever saw The Bucket List.
No, I still haven't. You keep telling me to check it out, but I still haven't.
Really cool film, great idea. It was just 2 old guys that were, on their way out, and one of them had a lot of money, and they bonded, and they ended up going on all these crazy adventures, knocking off the bucket list kind of thing. And just the way they put it all together and making a buddy movie with Jack Nicholson and Morgan Freeman, like everything about it works. And so I'd like to see the same thing here. That's part of what they were missing in the old one, is they didn't really do it as a buddy film. It just kind of went right into them doing the bank robbery. And I'd like to see more character building on who these guys were together before they get to that point. I think that should be, the robberies should be like the last half of the film, the second and third act kind of thing. And that first act should solely be set on just building who these guys are and their importance to each other, the relationship,
Yeah, definitely. And those films, you're right. I mean, it would be great if some of these older films were brought back, but that goes, we're old times film goers. Now, we like the movies back in the 70s and 80s and even the 90s. To that extent, and today I think we're just expecting the same type of quality or the originality or just the sheer drive. 'Cause I've been doing a lot of film studies over the last year about. I mean, do you know the first movie star ever? When you hear it, it's going to make sense. When you hear it, the very, very first mega movie star. Can you take a guess who that could have been?
Buster Keaton.
Close. Actually, it was Charlie Chaplin.
Okay.
And you got to keep in mind, it's been just over a century of movie making. Okay, we're still I would say we're in the teenage years, but we're just coming to understanding of making films and not be afraid. Because if you look at the very first films, it was just plays put on film, or does someone, the guy had the camera and just shot people just acting. There was not a lot to it back then. So I mean, today I think Hollywood lost those good days of really trying to do something different. Let's do something, but now it's just what will sell, what will market, what will work. Okay, what do we own that we can remake this week? What do we own? What do we have? What's in our vault? Instead of showing that freaking movie, let's just remake it. So we can make it for $10 million. We'll make 20. We double our money.
It's the old Simpsons joke. They nailed it when there was a board of executives trying to come up with new ideas for a television series. They said, we need fresh ideas. Quick, turn on your televisions. You know what I mean? And that's what it is they just, what worked 10 years ago? What worked 5 years ago? What worked last year? Let's do that.
And today, I think the market is so saturated with comic books, which I'm fine with. At least that's the only original thing you're seeing these days, because it's so easy to grab a comic book. You already got your storyboard. You got your core audience. Now just get people to get into it. For example, Deadpool has opened a can of worms. You're going to see people starting now be an onslaught of R-rated comic book movies because of Deadpool. This is what Hollywood's afraid of, that, I don't know, we can make an R-rated comic book movie. You've done it before! You've done it with Blade!
Yeah.
It's not the first R-rated comic book you ever made. And that's a freaking Marvel movie.
I'm with you.
Okay? So now what's going to happen? Oh, we're going to do Wolverine R-rated.
Yep.
We're going to do X-Force, which is fine, but it's going to be saturated. You think it's bad now?
Oh no, it's going to go off the chain. It's going to become so absurd that they're going to start taking regular PG comic book heroes and making them R now. You're going to see a force to where everybody's got to be dirty. It's going to go over the top. And that's...
Well, here's a rumor. Here's an example of what I'm afraid of. Okay, Batman versus Superman, PG-13, right? Okay. Now there's a rumor saying that the DVD is going to be R-rated. Why, people? Why? And possibly that maybe
they better be showing Wonder Woman's titties. That's all I'm telling you right now.
Yes, I want some Wonder Tits in this movie. And now there's
them bachelors make me tell the truth. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Let's say that like even with the movie coming out, Suicide Squad this August. Could you imagine the heads of Warner Bros. Say, could you punch it up a little bit? Could you make it a little more R-rated so we get R-rated so we get that core audience that's really into the R-rated comic book movies? No.
And that's the thing, is that's not, the Suicide Squad doesn't need to be R-rated because that's not what the story's about, Well,
actually, if they stuck to the original plan, because Suicide Squad could be R-rated.
Right, but it doesn't, what I'm saying is it doesn't need to be, because
it doesn't need to.
The characters are strong enough to be able to hold up in a regular comic book film. I understand what you're saying. And every film has the potential to be R-rated. Personally, with me, I'd like them all to go crazy and just... That rating system is outdated, outmoded, and needs to be rethought.
Well, my feeling about the R rating is necessary for there are some bad parents who don't know not to take their kids to go see Deadpool.
I'm not saying that it needs to be abolished. I'm saying it needs to be rethought, and that's the thing. Is that it's archaic. It doesn't. The board that decides on these things doesn't. They're too uptight about certain things, and there's certain things
you don't need to have a rating on your film to be released in the first place. It just limits where it's going to be screened.
Right.
That's all.
Yeah.
But with today's technology, I mean, if you can get the same core audience online, you don't need it. And that's where I guess where I'm getting at. You're gonna get original stuff. You're gonna get online. There's no ratings. It's just out there. Either you get it or you don't get it. All right. But the theaters are still in, like you said, an archaic way of thinking. They're not trying to think out of the box. So one thing I wish they do, I know we're getting off topic on the whole reboot, but the one thing that I'm hoping for is that somebody realize, hey, we need to put a hold on this stuff. We need to get more original films out there. We got to take risks like we used to instead of playing it safe. Playing it safe, it loses my interest.
Right.
Like the Ghostbusters. I had high hopes for it because I thought maybe they really will punch it up, but it looks like this is even playing it safe.
Yeah,
completely. And I'll have to watch the trailer one more time. I only watched it one time, and I just remember I really, really tried to okay, I'm just going to take it for what it's worth. Maybe I'll get a laugh out of it. Let's see what they're going with. Okay? And there wasn't really a moment where oh, hell yeah. Because you watch the original Ghostbuster trailer, there's a couple of laughs in there.
Yep.
Or you go, oh, yeah. Because I remember even the trailer when you saw the three of them come out. Hey, you see a ghost? Oh, I was clapping at the trailer of that part of it.
Totally.
But I can't say it here because I'm not in the theater to see the original trailer. But, I'm watching it right now as we're talking just to, they're showing remnants of the past, like the Ghostbusters building where they were in. Their logo, stuff that you're familiar with, right?
Right.
And then you see a complete. I'm glad I watched it again. They do kind of like the same thing in the first Ghostbusters, where the lady in the floating librarian.
Uh-huh.
They do another version of that, but all they did was bring it up a notch. Okay, I'll just tell you because in the trailer, in the original one, what do? They go get her, and she goes does that part, right? Well, this one, she tries to talk to it, get closer, and this one just blows slime all over her. Mm-hmm. That's the difference between the remake and the original.
Wait a minute, are you sure you're not watching a Japanese bukkake film?
Hold on, let me check.
Just in case. There's not tentacles, are there?
Oh, I watched the wrong trailer.
But you're absolutely right, and that's the trouble, is they're not understanding what gave that other original Ghostbuster film the character that it has.
Yeah. Now the ghost looks pretty cool because that's an update, but there's an example of a remake of a joke from the movie. Mm-hmm. And that right there alone lets you know what you're looking into. It's not
and I hope that they don't have the character that's supposed to be the smart ass the way that Bill Murray was. And, I hope that they do it a little bit more like, in a sense, what it really should be is these are women scientists, and they should have different personalities than the men scientists that were in the original stories. Well,
you're nailing it. They are trying to do that. They're not trying to make it like, hey, this person's supposed to be Dan Aykroyd, or this person will be Bill Murray. But they're introduced their characters. What, like I said earlier, is what their role is in the movie, and you're seeing them in action. But it's not straight up cracking jokes left and right.
Well, that's fine.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, is in the Ghostbusters, they really weren't cracking a lot of jokes. There was a lot of deadline jokes, but there was also, you had Bill Murray's his personality of just constantly throwing crap out there. Whenever something would happen, that seems, whatever he would say. I'm going to go, he was being lecherous about, I'm going to go check out Miss Barrett. I'll check out her apartment, that kind of stuff. Like, there were good jokes in there, but it wasn't like they were trying to hit you over the head with it. The real story was who these guys are, that they were thrown out of the university. They're trying to figure out how to make money. They spent all the money that Dan Aykroyd had, that essentially the entire group had, on getting a place, getting the car, and getting the proton packs. And now they're going out trying to make money. And it was just interesting. I like that. But where do you go with it now? Are you going to retell that story? I don't want to see that story. I already saw it. So they need to do something. And I like that they're touching on the fact that this was the past. So they're not starting from scratch. They didn't come up with the idea. They're not going to try and do that. And that's good. I like that. So
we'll see. Definitely. But I just want to get that out there. And real quickly, I want to talk about another trailer, which I just mentioned briefly, is a Disney movie. They're doing a remake of Pete's Dragon. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, the trailer, if you want to watch it while I talk about it, you're willing to, if you want to, you can do that. I'll tell you some backstory, what I know about the film.
Go for it.
They are taking a different take on the film. They're not going. One thing I'm glad they're not doing the whole abused child point of view, because that's what Pete did. He ran away from an abusive family. Uh-huh. So in this version, it looked like he was like a lone wolf in the woods. Like he was raised by something out in the woods, and it turns out to be a dragon, most likely. What I do know is that
how to train your human.
Pretty much, he even has a little nest up in the treetop where he hangs out, right? And which I'm really surprised that there's Robert Redford's in this movie. He plays the old man, and then we have Bryce Howard playing the lead, the female who wants to befriend Pete and the dragon.
Yeah, I think she's in it for the Robert Redford. But go on.
Yeah. So anyway, I believe that the villain in this movie is not going to be one person, but I think the logging company. I think it's going to be an environmental movie.
Oh, it's Avatar.
Exactly, people. It's Avatar without the love interest thing.
Right,
Well,
exactly.
Love. It's a love for a child.
Nobody's gonna have an
And not in a bad
orgasm in
way.
a photo booth or whatever the heck he was in.
But it doesn't look like it's a musical. Not like Jungle Book, which
Right.
is definitely even that may not be a musical. They may have some. I don't know.
We're gonna
It's
see
still-
how they do it, but I'm really looking forward to the Jungle Book remake.
I am looking forward to the Jungle Book, and that comes out in
And
April. I
And the
believe.
thing about that remake is they're actually going from cartoon to live action, so it's definitely going to be different, you know.
Is that considered a remake though? Is it? It's still
Yeah, in a sense, it sort of is. It's a remake / reboot. It's
revision?
Right, a revision, but it's certainly not a fresh idea. You know, you can't.
It's
claim
not
that.
okay, and that's what Disney's doing. And I'm fine. Do all your cartoons and films. I'll
Absolutely.
check them out.
Just do them right. The whole thing with me is I'm not worried about the remake. If you want to make a remake, fine, but do it. First of all, give the original source material the respect it deserves. Try to write something a little different so we're not just watching a live action version of shot for shot the same film. I don't want to see that. You know, do something fresh, do something cool. I would love to see a live action version of the Robin Hood with all the animals, the snake, and that cartoon.
You don't be surprised if the Jungle Book is successful. They'll announce it right afterwards.
That'll be
because
the
that'll be
next
the
one.
next movie,
Yeah.
or The Lion King.
Right.
And I don't think they should do The Lion King. And you're right. I think they should do Robin Hood. If they're going to do another remake and they're going to have animals like the Jungle Book, it has to be Robin Hood.
Yeah.
It has to be.
Yep.
It'll not be suicide. It'll be stupid. It'll be a
Yeah.
great opportunity. Look at all the merchandise of all the animals they can sell. Are you kidding me?
And
It's
who
a
doesn't
perfect-
know Robin Hood? Like, even if you don't know that cartoon, which is almost unheard of, you know the story of Robin Hood. It's a good way. It's definitely a good route to go.
Definitely. You got me off subject. I was going to mention something else, but anyway, it doesn't even matter. So I'll tell you what.
Blame it
So
all on me.
The Pete's Dragon, Jungle Book, Beauty and the Beast. These are all cartoons being turned into live action, all done by Disney. So I'm sure it's on the table of what they're going to announce next. Is now they're just waiting to see the success of these movies. Because they already know, like the Cinderella was successful, and then Alice in Wonderland has made it. Number 2's coming out this year, so they know. So now they're going to try stuff that's known with animals in it. And if Jungle Book is successful, you will hear an announcement of Robin Hood or Lion King. I can't think what else was. The Lion King is up there with Zootopia because Zootopia is just all animals,
Right.
And they're hearing some good things about that. Who knows? But the Lion King is a name everybody knows.
Right.
You mention the Lion King, you think of Mustafa, you think of Simba, you think of Scar. You put names to these animals. Like, I want to see that in the live action version of it.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. I'm sure we'll have this discussion after Jungle Book comes out. It'll do well, and they'll announce it almost positively. All right. So speaking of Zootopia, that's coming out, I believe, this week, and the good news, there's good hype over that one. Hearing good things about it. I'm not going to go see it because it's not my type of film. My grandson wants to see it. I'll take him, but he has an ass, so I'm not taking him. So I'm a mean grandfather. I'm mean.
Bad grandpa.
Bad grandpa indeed. So we're looking forward this month. In less than 22 days, it's going to be the Superman versus Batman.
Holy crap,
Dawn
man!
of Justice.
You thought
Now-
a city was wrecked when he went up against General Zod. Oh my God, it's going to be just a mess.
Okay. We'll do. Well, I'm sure, and maybe in our next episode, we'll talk about the Batman and Superman phenomenon on both ends.
Phenomenon.
First movie. That will work as well.
Phenomenon.
So I'll tell you what. On that note, I think we kind of touched bases of how we feel about remakes and what we're expecting in the future. It's Hollywood has control, and so far they think it's easier just to regurgitate it and see who will eat it.
Yep.
That's it.
And the sad part is people keep eating it. That's why they keep doing it.
I don't know what movie to actually pay to go see the remake. I think no, matter of fact, I haven't. I always go to
If I
Press screenings.
would have known, I would have gone and saw the Judge Dredd remake.
that one actually wasn't bad.
That was a very good remake. They took a movie that was extremely mediocre and they actually made something that was pretty cool. It was still a popcorn flick. It was still a B movie, but it actually wasn't bad the second time around.
It had a little bit of resonance of Raid. I don't know which came out first, but I think the Raid came out before Dread.
I think so.
That's something we need to find out because they're almost similar in a lot of things, but they're both good movies.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the fact that they were going to make a remake of The Raid, but now they decided not to, which I'm glad they did because the movie stands up on its own.
Yeah.
And it doesn't need to be remade in the U.S. That's another discussion of remakes from other countries that U.S. completely screw over. Old Boy would be a good example, and I'll leave it at that.
Completely. That's a great example, yes. Are we done?
Yes, we're done.
Oh, okay.
Okay, everybody. I'm Tony Lamar out here in Austin, Texas. Thank you for joining us on this edition of Movie Hype. I got my buddy out there in California, Mr.
Ross Miller, and you can find me at Punctual Pothead on Twitter.
You can find me easy, but at Tony_Lamar. I'm out there, people. Thanks for hanging out.